Dear all, welcome to AS Educational Channel. Today we will see the superposition theorem. In previous videos we have seen the two problems based on Kirchhoff's current law and Kirchhoff's voltage law. We have solved these problems by using Kirchhoff's current law and using Kirchhoff's voltage law also. The answer to the question was same. Now again we will consider those two problems and we will see how these problems can be solved by using the superposition theorem, and we will see that in superposition theorem also gives the same result as that was given by Kirchhoff's current law and Kirchhoff's voltage law. Let us first understand what is the meaning of superposition theorem. The superposition theorem states that in any linear network containing two or more sources, the response in any element is equal to algebraic sum of responses caused by individual sources acting alone while the other sources are inoperative. What does it mean? So first we should understand what is the linear network. So what is, in the definition they may ask you, what is a linear network? A network whose behavior will not change with respect to change in time, temperature or voltage. That means we can say our elements like resistance, inductance and capacitance, this behavior does not change with respect to time, temperature and voltage. With respect to change in time, temperature and voltage, then this will be called as a linear network. And what is a non-linear network? A network in which the values of the parameters changes with respect to time, temperature and voltage, that will be a non-linear network. Again the next question arises, what is a bilateral network? Bilateral means a network whose behavior depends on the direction of current. A network whose behavior depends on the direction of current, that means diode. Its diode, SCR, transistor, its behavior will totally depend on the current, direction of current. So this is unilateral, and the circuit or the network whose behavior doesn't depend on direction of current, so that will be a bilateral network. Now the superposition theorem states that in any linear network containing two or more sources, so let us say this is one source, let us say this is a voltage source, let us say this is a current source, and these are the elements, let us say. So what this states that individual response of each source has to be considered. So for time being, let us consider this is a voltage source. Then we see about the current source also. Now this states that suppose this is source A and suppose this is source B. So individual response has to be jotted down. That means first you have to say this is R1, this is R2, this is R3. Now you have to calculate the current flowing through the resistance, each resistance, by shorting the first. If it is a voltage source, we have to short it, and if it is a current source, we have to open it. So if in first case we have to short this voltage source B, and we have to find out the current through resistance R1, resistance R2, resistance R3. So this is by shorting voltage source B. Now in the second case, what we have to do, we have to short A and we have to start B, and again the currents through R1, R2 and R3 that are to be calculated, that is by shorting voltage source A. Now it states that if we do the activity and if you calculate this activity by individual responses, then say if R1 current by shorting the B was I1 and this is I1 dash, so this is I2 by shorting B, and this is I2 dash, so this is I3 and so this is I3 dash, then what is the answer of this exact current which is flowing through R1? So current flowing through the R1 is the algebraic sum. Algebraic sum means I1 plus I1 dash. So if it is positive, then if it is negative, then I1 minus I1 dash. Again, what is the current? That is current flowing through R2. Current flowing through R2 is again the algebraic sum of this I2 plus I2 dash. So it is the algebraic sum. So accordingly, this theorem states that if the individual response is considered for each source, then the current which is flowing through individual element will be the algebraic sum of individual responses of the sources. Right? Now we'll see the problem which we have solved by Kirchhoff's current law by using the superposition theorem, and we'll see whether the answer comes to the same or not. So this is the problem which we have taken in the session where we have solved the problem solving by using Kirchhoff's current law and Kirchhoff's voltage law. Now we'll use here the superposition theorem. Now for the superposition theorem, we know we have taken the question in a broad sense that we have said calculate the current through each resistor and power across each resistor. So this is our question. Now our superposition theorem steps will be like this. So first we have to test the individual responses of the sources. That means first source we have to keep in the circuit, another source that has to be shorted. If it is a voltage source, it has to be shorted. If it is the current source, it has to be kept open. That we will see in the Thevenin's theorem. But for the time being, you just keep in the mind that first we will keep this circuit live and this will be shorted as it is a voltage source. Now step 1, we will draw the circuit. Circuit is drawn like this. So this will be 10 ohm, this is 6 ohm, this is 8 ohm, and this is shorted. Now what is that we have to do? We have to find out the current by using the mesh analysis or loop equation. So let us say this current is I1 and this current is I2. This is I1 and this is I2. So we'll write the equation here. For loop 1, we can use Kirchhoff's current law also, but right now we are solving this problem by using the Kirchhoff's voltage law. So current to this C, again according to the direction of the current, it is entering from the negative sign. As per our convention, we will take -6 plus the remaining terms are always positive. So this is 10 I1 plus this is 6 into, this branch is common for both. So we have to say I1 is bigger than I2. So this is equal to 0. If we solve this branch, we will get this -6 plus 10 I1 plus 6 I1 minus 6 I2 is equal to 0, or we can write 16 I1 minus 6I2 is equal to 6. So this is our equation number 1. Now we'll consider the loop 2. So this is our loop 2. We'll write the equation of loop 2. Start from this 8. So current flowing through the 8 ohm is 8I2. Now this will be 6 into, now I2 has to be treated as a bigger. We have already discussed this in previous videos. So this will be equal to 0. So 8I2 plus 6I2 minus 6I1 is equal to 0, or what we can write as minus 6I1 plus 14I2 is equal to 0. So this is my equation number 2. If we solve the equation number 1 and 2 simultaneously, so we get the values like this. So if we solve these two equations simultaneously, we get the value of I2 as 0.196 ampere and I1 is 0.449. That means this is the case when we have shorted the 4-volt source. 4-volt source. Now in step 2, we'll short the 6-volt source and we'll make it active. So this will be inactive and this will be active. So our circuit diagram will be like this. This is shorted. Step 2 will be short other source. Obviously it is voltage source, hence it is shorted. So this is 10 ohm. This is 6 ohm. This will be as if it is, that is 4 ohm. This will be as if it is 4 ohm. Here I have forgotten to write 8 ohm. Now let us solve this loop. So we'll assume the direction of the current in this way. So our current is entering from the positive side. So we'll consider for loop 1 equation, and that is plus 4 volt as the current is entering. So let us say this is I1 dash. Oh, sorry, I will say let us say it is IA and it is say IB. Okay, so 4, that is, as the current is entering from the positive side, this is plus 4. Now this will be 6 into IA has to be treated as a bigger, so IA minus, now again say IB is also entering in opposite direction, so IA minus IB will be there, plus 8 into IA. This is equal to 0. And what I get is 4 minus 6IA minus 6IB plus 8IA is equal to 0. Or simply I can write minus 6IA plus 8IA, that is 2 times IA minus 6B. Previously we have mentioned that current through 10 ohm is I1, current through 8 ohm is I2. Let us follow the same philosophy and we'll write here as a I1 and we'll write here as a I2, right? So that I1 dash, in spite we'll write here I1 dash and I2 dash, right? So now let us calculate the equation for this loop, and that is loop 1 will consider this as a loop 1 and this is loop 2, this is loop 1. So equation for loop 1, this will be, see the current is entering from the positive side, so as per our convention we are taking it as a plus 4 and then remaining elements are always plus as per our previous discussions. So this is 6 into, now see as we are calculating for this I2 dash loop, so I2 dash has to be treated as a greater value and this will be minus the I1 dash, because I1 dash will also flow in this resistor. So plus 8 into, this is I2, sorry, it's I2 dash is equal to 0, and if we solve this equation, what we receive is 4 plus 6I2 minus 6I1, 4 plus 6I2 dash minus 6I1 dash plus 8I2 dash is equal to 0, or simply we can write as, let us write first I1 dash term. So minus 6I1 dash plus 6 plus 8, so 14I2 dash, 14I2 dash, this will give us is equal to minus 4. So this is my again equation number 3. Now we'll see for the loop 2. In loop 2, we'll write the equation. So we'll start from this 6 ohm, or we can start from 10 ohm also. So 6 ohm. So first I'm going to write the current through the 6 ohm will be, now we are considering this loop, and for this loop we have to treat that I1 dash is bigger than I2 dash, right? So remaining will be plus, this will be 10 into I1 dash, this is equal to 0. And now if we solve this equation, what we get is 6I1 dash minus 6I2 dash plus 10I1 dash is equal to 0, or what we can say, that is 16I1 dash minus 6I2 dash is equal to 0. Now we will solve the equation number 3 and 4 to find the value of I1 dash and I2 dash. So 6I1 dash plus 14I2 dash is equal to minus 4, and 16I1 dash minus 6I2 dash is equal to 0. We will solve these equations and we will get the values of I1 dash as and I2 dash as minus 0.143 and I2 dash is equal to minus 0.347. Now we'll tabulate all the results and we'll find out the power across each resistance or current through each resistance. Now see, I have made the table like this. Now here it has been mentioned that the current through the resistor. So resistors are in this circuit, total resistors are 3, that is 10, 8 and 6. So first case when 4 volt power supply was shorted, that means we have received the values of I1 and I2 that have been written here. So considering the first loop, I have written value of I1 minus I2, so this comes to be 0.253. So our I1 received was 0.196, I1 received was 0.449 and I2 was 0.196. So this has been written here. So I1 and I2. Again, in the second case, we have shorted the another source, that is this source was shorted and this was activated. So at that condition, we got the values like I1 dash as 0.143. What was I1 dash? It was the current which was flowing through the 10 ohm resistor. Previously, I1 is the current that was flowing through the 10 ohm resistor. So we have written I1 and I1 dash for the 3 ohm, for the 10 ohm resistor. So algebraic sum, if we calculate I1 is positive and I1 dash is negative, we have to make the algebraic sum. That means 0.449 minus 0.143 and this comes to be 0.306. So if we want, so this is the current, actually this is the current which is flowing through the 10 ohm resistance. So by this superposition theorem, the current flowing through the 10 ohm resistor is 0.306. So if we multiply this, see, if we multiply resistance with the current square, we will get the power, and the power across this 10 ohm resistor is 0.936. Now same thing for the 8 ohm resistor. When the first source was, when 4 volt was shorted, its current was 0.196, and when second source was shorted, that is 6 volt source was shorted, at that condition its current was minus 0.347. So algebraic sum will be this minus this, or you make this minus this, the same sum will come, and this will be minus 0.151. And if we calculate the power, so I square will be positive, and into resistance, that is what is 8 ohm. So we get the power across this resistance is 0.182. Similar case is done for 6 ohm also. So I1 minus I2 was the current considering the first loop for the 6 ohm resistance. So I1 minus I2, so 0.449 minus 0.196, that gives to be 0.253. And when 6 ohm short was shorted, at that condition I1 dash minus I2 dash has been done. So minus 0.143, right? So minus 0.143, minus of minus will be plus, so this will be plus 0.347, so this will be gives to be 0.204, and the algebraic sum of these two will be 0.457, and this 0.457 ampere, this is the current which is, this is 0.457 ampere, which is the current, resultant current that is flowing through this resistance. And now see our sum, so values we have taken here 3 digits, somewhere they might appear to 2 digit. The value is should be between 0.08 to 0.09 difference. So our C, if we calculate the 6 ohm into 0.457, you will get again 2.74, and in Kirchhoff's law we have found out the voltage at this point is 2.81. Similarly, we have found out in the Kirchhoff's voltage law, that is the voltage was also the same. Now here also we are getting 2.74, means that is there is a difference of 0.06 volts. Okay, so the voltage at this point, if the current is multiplied by this resistance, you will get the voltage across these two terminals. Now if similarly, if 8 ohm into the current is multiplied, so this will be the voltage drop across this resistance. Similarly for the 10 ohm also, the effective current into, if you multiply effective current into, that is algebraic sum current obtained after algebraic sum into the resistance will give the voltage drop across this. Similarly, this problem can be solved by using another, that is Norton's method, and we will see this method in the next course, next session. Thank you very much.